Hello everyone, TheSambasti here with part 1 of my 4-part FireFall tutorial series. So this is part 1 of 4. This part deals with the super basics of the game, a little bit of background, basic controls, how the world works. Part 2 is going to cover PvE, part 3 will cover PvP, so player versus environment and player versus player. And part 4 will go into some character progression and some of the MMO elements of FireFall. So, this tutorial is really aimed at people who've never played FireFall before. So something to maybe watch while you're downloading the game, you've just gotten a beta key, etc. So because of that, I'm just going to go into some background as well, and some basic FireFall controls. If you already know this stuff, if you've already been in the game, you'll probably want to skip ahead a bit and go into a different part of the tutorial. But either way, so to start with a little bit of background of FireFall. FireFall is set in an apocalyptic future where a failed attempt at faster-than-light travel has led to a huge disaster that has covered most of the world in this energy storm that kills everything, basically. You play as a mercenary, living in the society, and you have to, well, basically survive. And as a server, as a player and as a server, your goal is to push back this melding and retake the planet. And they have this whole campaign thing and this progressing storyline plan for all of that. But for now, you've just joined the game, you'll probably want to figure out how to move. So controls are very similar to other first-person shooters. If you have played a first-person shooter before, you just move around with WASD, like this. You can look around with the mouse. Left mouse button shoots, right mouse button does alternative fire, or if you're using certain weapons, it lets you scope. You can jump with the space bar. If you hit space after you jump, or if you hold space, you'll start jetting. Jetpacks are really important in FireFall, or jet boots in the case of the assault. Vertical movement is really important, and it'll help you get around faster and help you dodge things. You can also sprint with shift, or crouch with control. Crouching is not really something I recommend. Sprinting is good sometimes. Sometimes you don't want to jet in the air because you'll get hit by a sniper or something. But if you crouch, you'll stop moving, and in FireFall, not moving will get you killed. So for example, if I'm standing right here, I'm just trying to strafe this guy with crouch, I'm actually going to get hit by whatever he's shooting at me. Whereas if I'm in the air, it's much easier for me to dodge. It's also in PvP, if you crouch, it's very easy for your opponents to track you and for your opponents to hit you, which is why you want to keep moving. That said, some more FireFall specific controls. The X button lets you turn your flashlight on and off. Really useful during nighttime. And player versus environment, you want to have your flashlight on almost all the time because it's just so much easier to see. It's kind of, I think, it's dawn now, so it's not that important anymore, but when it's actually night in FireFall, it's really pitch black. So you'll need the flashlight. In player versus player, that's not as much of a definite, because your flashlight on will actually get you spotted easier. Because while you have a flashlight, you can see other people's flashlight too. So because this assault has his flashlight on, I can really easily see where he's pointing and where he is. So in player versus player, you'll probably want your flashlight off most of the time. Some other FireFall controls. You can actually switch between third and first person using the middle mouse button. I tend to prefer first person because I just find it easier to shoot, easier to aim, like this. But third person gives you a much better perspective of what's going on around you. It's easier to see if you're being attacked. So really, it's personal preference. You can also switch between them at any time, so that's not that much of a problem. Besides that, the F button lets you target things. So let me just find somebody to shoot, and I'll show you. The F button adds things to your shared intelligence network, to your SIN. So I can see this title scavenger via that red icon even when I don't see him, because I hit the F button while I was pointing at him. Your allies see the same things you do with the F button. So especially in player versus player, it's really important because people will be moving fast, they'll be running away, they'll be running between walls, and you need to somehow keep track of them. So the F button is really important for that. A lot of people don't really know about that, and it might not be that important for you to shoot whoever you're pointing at because you've already discovered them, but you'll definitely want your friends to notice them and to shoot at them as well. So always hit the F button when you point at something. And in things like player versus player, you might even want to hit it when you're not pointing at something, because you might accidentally discover somebody you haven't seen before. Okay, so speaking of the Shared Intelligence Network, the Shared Intelligence Network is FireFall's version of a menu system. So if I hit the tilde button to the left of my 1 key, I bring up this nav wheel, which connects me to the SIN. So I can do things like manage my friends list, versus mode, currency exchanged for buying Red5 beans, notifications, cooldowns, inventory, and world map. And with that, you can also, well, open your world map. So let's take a look at the world of FireFall. As you can see here, FireFall is actually really big. The map is fairly large, and if you're walking, it can take, I think, up to 10 minutes to actually get across all of it. The purple stuff you see here is the melding. It's the energy storm. And your goal as a player and as a community is to push back this melding and unlock content. So for example, there might be a town over here, and if you push back the melding, you'll be able to unlock that town. So the purple stuff kills you, and the purple stuff is bad. With that said, let's take a trip and take a look at the purple stuff. But before we can do that, let's look at our abilities. Obviously, you can get around the world just jetting and shooting everybody. And that works for the most part. But often, you'll need a bit more power. So, if you look at the bottom of the screen, I have an ability bar, which shows all of my abilities. If I hit the 1 button, I activate my first ability, which is the Afterburner. And as you can see, it goes on cooldown and I jet forward. I can also activate my second ability and deal an extra burst of damage via Shockwave. The number 4 you see there is the 4th ability. That's the cooldown slot. So a character can have up to 3 regular abilities in a cooldown. So if I hit 4 button, this comes up, and I can place down a glider pad, and I can go gliding. Cooldowns have much longer cooldowns, and they tend to be craftable, and one use only. So for example, that glider pad I used just now, I can't use again. I have more glider pads because I crafted more, but I'm going to have to replace them eventually. So, if you do want to get around the world, like I said, you can walk and jet everywhere, but just like you use your regular abilities for fighting, cooldowns are especially useful for traveling. So I just showed you that glider pad, and that is one of the FireFall's most awesome modes of transportation. That's gliding. With gliding, you jump off of a glider pad like the one I just showed you, either via a glider pad you built yourself, or via a publicly available glider pad, such as this one. And these glider pads don't expire, the publicly available ones, so you can use them again and again. So you just run on the glider pad, hit space, and then you can glide across the world. As you're gliding, you'll want to make them keep the glider fairly level as possible, so you get maximum distance. And you'll want to keep it right where the glider starts shaking a little bit. If it shakes too much, like this, you'll stall and you'll tip down, and then you'll lose a lot of altitude. If you do start to stall, tip down, and then back up again, and that'll take you out of the fall. Otherwise, you'll just crash all the way to the ground. So that works, but as you can see, I've managed to get all the way over here, but now there's no more glider pad. And if I'm a new player, then I don't have glider pads to deploy. So there's other modes of transportations as well. You can open your cooldown menu with C, and as you can see, I have a huge amount of cooldowns. And then you can use the LGV. Now, currently the LGV is only available for people who bought the Founders Pack, but eventually this will become craftable. And by the time you watch this, it might already be craftable, so I'm going to show it anyway. So the LGV is just a cooldown. You deploy it like any other cooldown, and then you drive around with it. It does have health. I'm not sure how the craftable LGV is going to work, but the Founder Pack LGV that you do not have to craft, and it's infinite use, which is good because it tends to glitch out sometimes and take damage for no reason. So anyway, we're just going to drive towards the melding here. And we'll keep driving. Keep driving. So as you can see, this is actually a lot faster than walking. You can also activate a horn. Now we're just going to run through this town while getting shot. And you've probably noticed it's starting to get brighter here. Now part of that is that it's dawn and that the sun is coming up all the way over here. But another part of that is that we're actually approaching the melding. The melding is so eerie and powerful that it will actually light up a night almost as bright as day. So this is the melding. This is the big bad thing in FireFall. And as you can see, yeah, it's pretty huge. If you look at the map, we're over here right now, right at the edge of the melding. We've gone from all the way over here to all the way over there. Just a tiny fraction of FireFall's map, and even with the LGV, it actually took quite some time to get here. So if you do approach the melding, your screen will go dark, and once you cross into the melding, you'll begin to take damage. And then when you leave the melding, the damage will stop and you'll revive. The deeper you go into the melding, the worse the damage gets. So you can make it maybe this far in, and then it will just basically insta-kill you. So traveling inside the melding is not something I recommend, and is not something that is going to get you very far. So, that said, this is what the melding looks like. The only other thing to really cover for super basics is reviving. And it's hard to revive yourself or execute yourself, so I'm going to do that with a friend. So we'll be right back. And we're back. I'm here with Red5's Dragon, who's going to help me demonstrate the revive. Now, I'm going to do something really stupid here and stand here and get myself killed. And when I do, you're going to see that at the bottom of the screen I have a new circular health bar that shows how much health I have left until I'm actually killed, along with a timer that shows how long I have to be revived before I automatically die from expiration. So now I'm dead. Now Dragon's going to do the smart thing and take down at least one of the mobs to minimize the amount of damage he takes while he revives me. Then he's going to run up and just in the nick of time revive me and bring me back to health. Now when I am revived, I'm going to take back about half of my HP. And then of course I'm going to do the smart thing and immediately get out of there. So that's it for a super basic tutorial. Check us out at Limelight Esports. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to get the rest of the tutorials along with other videos. And I'll see you guys later.